Hello, Just Gem here and welcome, or indeed welcome back to my channel. Perhaps against my better judgment, I'm filming for a video that's coming later than a video I should probably be filming right now, but to be honest, I'm more excited to film this video than the other video, so I'm doing it first. And the reason I'm excited is because it is a collab with Erica Conger, whose details I'm going to put in the description box down below. This is my first ever collab, so I'm very excited, and forgive me if I forget to do or say anything. One, partly because I'm not going to lie, it's been a long week and I'm tired, and two, as I mentioned, first ever collab. I'm really excited. Erica gave me a shout out on her channel. Was I following Erica already? I think I was. Yeah, she gave me a shout out on her channel, which was really sweet of her. I've kind of been catching up on Erica's content and sort of getting a bit more familiar with the kind of makeup Erica's into, and also I guess just getting to know Erica a little bit through her content. It was quite cool because she did a Q&A recently, and she does these makeup and no makeup and chill videos as well, where it's all about sort of just chatting, answering questions, that kind of thing. And it got me thinking maybe I should do like a bit of a Q&A, but I don't know if there's enough of you to generate enough questions, but let me know. Maybe I'll do a community post to ask me some questions if you would like to pose one. Erica and I decided that we would do a Throwback Thursday video, and we would throw it back to the Bay Earthy palette, which is a gorgeous, rather earthy toned palette, so it's very appropriately named. Looking ever so washed out in my lights, but there we go. And we also said that we would concentrate on these bottom two rows because neither of us have focused a great deal on these rows. I mean, looking at this palette, I don't know. I've done a few looks with it, but I mean, there's 42 pans in here, so it's probably going to take a while before it shows any signs of some real use. But Throwback Thursday, Bay Earthy, bottom two rows that have less of the green in them and perhaps more of the neutral, warmer brown and reddy tones. I hope that my camera is going to focus on me. It seems to have a fixation with cushions that I put behind me. I've tried to, it's still quite a distracting pattern to be fair. I've tried to go for a less distracting pattern in the background, so hopefully it will focus on me and not my lovely cushions in the background instead. Now, I have had Erica posted on Instagram, so I've already seen her look. But I tried to I liked the post and commented, but scrolled by very quickly because I didn't want to look at her, see the look that she had created and be like, oh, I'll do that. I know she did use a bit of red, but I mean, that red shade called Raw and Heat next to it, they look rather nice. Rather nice. But let's see. This is an unwieldy palette to kind of put in front of a camera, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. Do I want to lean into the red? I haven't done a red look in a very long time, so I think I might lean into the red. So I'm going to start with this shade here called Brick, and then I think I'll deepen. I mean, I don't know if that will deepen as such, but I do want to use this shade called Raw, and then I do think I'll put on this shimmer which is called Heat, like I've said, and one of the, maybe Soprano. Is that Soprano? Yeah, that's shade Soprano. That could look quite nice with all of those. But yeah, let's see where the brush takes me. But starting with Brick, as I say. It's been a bit of a long week. I've been off for most of it. I think the only day that I worked was Tuesday, and the main reason is because I just wanted to get on top of a few things before before I took the rest of the week off, because I had my brother staying with me. So my brother, my sister-in-law and my niece came for a visit. It's the school holidays, well at the moment it's the tail end of the school holidays here in the UK. So they came over from Amsterdam for a visit. And I took the Monday off to have a long weekend, and because I wasn't really sure what the plan was for while they were here, so I thought, well, let me take the Monday off and we'll go from there. Then we figured out a plan. I worked on Tuesday to try and get ahead of everything, then had the rest of the week off. And I know I'm probably going to have, well, I already know because I was very naughty and I spied my work emails. So I know that I've already got a growing to-do list for when I get back. But such is life. I live in Derby. We went for a walk. We went to Derby Cathedral, and foolishly we did that on a Sunday, so obviously there were services so we couldn't actually go in. But then we had a nice lunch, came back, chilled for a bit, then we had Sunday dinner. Monday was chilled. What did we do on Monday? Oh, my brother had to work. My sister-in-law and my niece came over, and my sister-in-law had to do a bit of shopping, so I watched my niece, and can you guess what we did? Makeup. So she's 6, and she knows that I'm into my makeup, and she's kind of curious about it too. So I got my Carnival Tahiti palette. I thought she might like the colours in there, and I got her to pick out her favourite shades, and I did a little eye look for her. Let me knock my lighter down a little bit. That's quite bright. I think you can see the tones a bit better there. What I might do is blend this out a little bit with a Refa 13. So that was a Refa number 1 I was using, just to pack on brick. And I might go in with Squash, which is a bit of an orangey shade, to maybe just blend out those edges a little bit. Yeah, did my niece's makeup. In fact, the plan had been to do some Halloween makeup as well, but we were out for the day, and sort of by the time we got back it was a bit late to then do a little Halloween look for her. So I kind of made some dinner while her parents took her out trick-or-treating. I don't think they have trick-or-treat as such in Amsterdam. There's something else that they have in a couple of weeks' time where they knock on doors in exchange for sweets. It's called something else. For the price point, I've got to say Beauty Bay does produce some excellent quality shades. And I haven't delved into one of the 42 pans for a while. I always feel when they do those ranges where it's 9, 16, 42, I always feel it's worth just going for that 42, because sometimes the shades that you're most keen on don't appear in those smaller pans, whereas if you just get the bigger one, you're gonna have them all, so it's great. Erica had said that she wanted to slow down on the collabs, so when she did the shout out, and because I know Erica does collabs, and I said I've gone into the wrong shade there. I'd seen from Erica's channel that she does quite a few collabs with people, so immediately when she kind of gave me a shout out, I said, oh, it would be really nice to do a collab, even though she'd pretty much said in the video, I'm going to slow down with the collabs. So when I put it out there, I wasn't sure if Erica would be particularly keen on that, but luckily she was. And then after a bit of toing and froing, not too much mind, because I did wonder, I wasn't sure 100% how much our collections overlapped. So there was talk of potentially maybe picking a brand and each picking a palette from that brand that we had, but we discovered quite quickly that we both had Earthy and neither of us had used it for a while. I mean, I've used it recently, but as I say, I've concentrated on the green shades because I did a comparison with undergrowth. Okay, now I am going to go in with raw. That's pretty red, that's nice. I like that. It was quite easy, I think, to decide in the end what to do. And I sort of dug the palette out, and I did have a quick look at potential looks I could do, but I didn't want to over plan necessarily, because I feel sometimes that the best looks are ones where you just sit down and just do what tickles your fancy, really. You know, as I say, go where that brush takes you. It's funny because I've actually wanted to start a YouTube channel for a very, very long time. And one of the things that, I mean, there were numerous things that held me back. I mean, there's always an excuse, isn't there, of why you shouldn't necessarily do something that could be potentially scary. So I remember I bought my camera, so I use a Panasonic Lumix G7 to film, and I bought that years ago, and it was like a dual reason. One, I wanted to get into photography, and two, I wanted to use it to film. And then I was nervous because my skill level at the time wasn't great. Not that I'm exactly a makeup pro now, but I can blend some shadows together, and I've gotten a better idea of what suits me and eye shapes and what I think works for me. And I'm always kicking myself that I didn't start, say, in lockdown or something like that. I think lockdown would have been a really good time to start. And I have this memory of sitting down and having this makeshift setup. Not that my setup right now is the most glamorous in the world, but I remember sitting down at my dining room table at the time and attempting to film a video. And I think it was with the ABH and Jackie Aina collab. That's what I tried to film with. And it's amazing the tips and tricks that you pick up for yourself, even when you're filming, and how to film. Because the very first video I filmed when I made that decision again to start my channel was a Pat McGrath video, and it was a car crash, and it was just so long, and when I was trying to edit it, I couldn't make it watchable. Basically, it was just incoherent and jumbly, and I was forgetting things, and I was jumping around. I still jump around, but I think it's more, it just flows better. It just flows better. And another reason is people are mean. They can be. People can be really mean. And I was scared, especially because of my skill level at the time, not necessarily being up there with the makeup artists on the scene or with the people who were just exceptionally talented. I'm gonna put heat. I'm going in with my finger, and I'm going to put heat on the edge here. Yeah, so with my skill level not being that of a seasoned pro, I was worried that people would watch any content I created and think to themselves, who on earth are you? Why should I watch you? You can't even do a cut crease. Get back in your box type thing. I've seen some of the comments that people who have been doing this for a while, and the trolls that can be present. Oh, that's nice. The trolls that can be present and how vicious they could be, and I wasn't prepared to deal with that, to be honest, so that's a big thing that put me off. And now that I've actually started it, I'm meeting, obviously not in real life, but I'm coming across some of the nicest people ever. It's the smaller sort of YouTube creators. It's people like Erica, and there's Nikki, and there's Jan, and I'm seeing a lot of people like a lot of you are the same people who are sort of commenting and encouraging, and that's not at all what I had expected from the experience. I just kind of thought, you know, you might get a handful of people watching you, maybe a few likes here, a few comments there, no big deal. But if I had known that I'd come across like really lovely people like Erica, who I'm currently collabing with, I'd have started much sooner, to be honest. I don't know if I want soprano or legend. I mean, either one's gonna be. And then there's Palm and Satellite. I think Satellite would make a very nice inner corner highlight, so I might keep it for that. I think I kind of want to put soprano and Palm. Is that overkill? Possibly. I don't know that my eyes are big enough for this, but we're going to try it anyway. So in with my finger. Oh, that feels creamy. That's nice. I'm kicking myself a little bit that I left it so long, but I'm having lots of fun. I'm loving interacting with people, lovely people from across the globe. I mean, from my stats, most of the people who are watching me are US based, and it's kind of cool when you look at your stats behind the scenes and you kind of see that people from across the globe are watching you. It's quite a cool thought. My skill level is still not up there. I mean, in comparison to how it was when I started, it's pretty good, definitely. But I am always getting better, and I hope that people who watch find some value in it, whatever value that might be. Some people seem to like my voice. I get that a lot. I have a very classical, there's a word for it and it's just gone out of my head. It's like an evolved version of, oh my god, what is that phrase for my English accent? I'm gonna have to Google it. I've had a few comments about how I have quite a nice soothing voice, so I wouldn't say I was posh per se. I think some other people would argue with me on that. I'm definitely well spoken, and I probably would describe myself as perhaps having a modern day received pronunciation accent. So I do speak the Queen's English, but obviously my accent has got nothing on the late Queen. And I think the tone of my voice, people have commented that that's quite nice as well. So maybe you stick me on in the background and you just listen to me jabber on about makeup. That eye's neater today. It's not normally the case. It's normally the other way around. And then maybe, perhaps on top of potentially liking my accent, you might appreciate what I have to say about certain makeup releases, so maybe I help in that sense. I tend to watch YouTube videos about new makeup releases because it helps me decide. So there's people that I watch because I value their opinion. So for example, Teresa is Dead, Robert Welsh, the people who are perhaps a bit more popular on YouTube, like I value their opinion, and those are the people that I watched a lot before I started my own channel. And then there are people that I follow both because I value their opinion and also because they're close to my skin tone, so they're in a position to be able to tell me what something is going to look like on me. And I think, oh, now I'm looking at Fizz. No, we're going to do Palm. We're going to do Palm. So I'm going in with my little finger. I'm going all in here. Okay, so that's just added like a bit of a hit there. That's nice. I'm being very sloppy with my left eye today. My left eye is normally better. Today I'm all over the place with it. All over. They blend into each other, but Balm has just made that inside bit, just that little bit, just given that bit of pizzazz. Now in my rotation, as well as people like Robert Welsh and Teresa is Dead and Jamie Trini, who I follow, so she's a bit, she's fairer than me, but watching her apply makeup and hearing her thoughts on, seeing how something performs on her, so basically if it doesn't work on Jamie Trini, it's not going to work on me. And then there's Tatiana Anise, who I think is closer to my skin tone, so I watch her a lot. So as well as those people who I was watching before, since I've started my channel, I've discovered people like Erica and Nikki Lynn and Jan and Cole of the Ball, and so they're all in my rotation now as well. And that's another reason why I'm really glad I've started my channel, because I don't think I would have stumbled across them otherwise. Like, the YouTube algorithm is brutal, and it only really, I mean, I understand it to an extent. It's going to push videos it thinks you're going to watch, and if you're a smaller YouTuber, your videos aren't necessarily going to get prioritized. It's also helping me to discover lots of indie brands. I mean, well, so it's nice to try all these new brands and new formulas, but I don't think my wallet's very grateful, to be perfectly honest. Right, so we're going in with Satellite now on the very inner corner. Let's see what this does, because Satellite looks very impressive in the pan. I'm going to spray this. I want this to be more intense. I mean, that's pretty, but I want more. I want more! One of these days, I'll get out of my comfort zone and put like a matte shadow on my inner corner. I'll experiment with that. But I just love an intense inner corner highlight. I'm going to get to a point where I'm a bit more presentable, so I can come back and do my under eye. And I'm also going to decide what I want to put in my waterline. Let's see. Back shortly. Isn't it amazing what some concealer and some powder can do? I feel like that's taken years off me. Now, underneath. What do I want to do underneath? I think I might, I've got, this is my 13. Yeah, so I might go back and forth with Brick and Raw, and then enhance maybe with Heat. I'm just, when did I properly start my channel? I think back in April. It was being somewhat annoyed with Odin's Eye that kick-started everything. So my Odin's Eye short, where I unboxed my mystery box, followed by my longer form content, are what got me started, and then I've kind of kept going ever since, and I'm rather enjoying it. Try not to poke yourself in the eye, Gem. So it would be quite cool to do more collabs in the future, and I'm still trying to get into my own little groove and find my own rhythm. I guess figure out what content I enjoy filming to start with. I feel like this mascara is just getting better and better. I think that's what happens with mascaras. They kind of dry a little bit. They stop having that super wet consistency, and then they have like this peak period, and then they get too dry and they just don't work anymore. I have finished off my face. I have, what have I done? I've done winged liner, mascara, waterline using a Rimmel, using a Rimmel Wonder Ombre pencil liner. It's clearly not going to focus, but that's what it is. My blush is the NYX Buttermelt blush in Back and Butter, and I almost, well, every single time I forget that the reason I enjoy these is because they're super pigmented. So I go in, shove it on my face, and I have this moment where I look like a clown. But I managed to tone it down by just sort of dabbing over it with the brush that I used on my foundation. So this was the side in question, and it looked as if someone had given me a swift, sharp slap to the face. I've managed to tone that down. I am going through my bronzers to see which ones actually bronze me, and the one I have chosen to use today is the Revolution Pro Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Enrobe, and that's it there. I think it's just about done the job, so I think I'll keep that. I think in the summer months I'm going to have to find something that's darker, or it might be that I resort to my Made by Mitchell curve case and maybe I set it with one of these. So that's what I've used to bronze. I've gone in with a highlight today. I have used the Made by Mitchell Blush Pressed Lights Highlighter Duo. This is Soul Searcher, and I've used the Skinny Gold shade here, which is called Watch Your Mouth. So that's what I've put as a highlighter. I think that's quite nice there. I've gone in lightly because I didn't want to be seen from outer space. I'm only going downstairs to eat dinner once I finished filming. I've got a very odd combo on my lips because I couldn't decide what to put on, whether to go super nude, or I even considered a red lip, but I thought that might be a bit full on. I've got the Velour Lip Liner in 89 Fine, or 69 Fine, I think it's 69. No, it's 89 Fine. And this is the liner that was part of Donnie Darkowitz's collection, so also known as Taj, with Blend Bunny. So I picked this up because I was curious. I wanted a darker lip liner, so that's what I've lined my lip with. And then I went in with MAC Whirl, which was kind of my go-to. I almost think that this is too dark a brown to pair with this look. Whirl with a brown liner, maybe with a more neutral look, would work, because that used to be my go-to back in the day, but it didn't really work with this liner. So what I've done is I've gone over it with the Glisten Chroma Gloss in the shade Phoenix, which I used recently because it's got a bit of sparkle, and I think that's actually worked out quite well. This is the look. I really like that. I don't know how many people go out of their way to avoid pretty much every single green shade contained in the Earthy palette, but that's kind of the challenge that Erica and I set ourselves, to focus on these rows here. Once again, I want to thank Erica for agreeing to do this collab with me. I think collab is just kind of a really nice way to connect, and it's encouraged me to dig out a palette I haven't used for a little while. I think it potentially has done the same thing for Erica, and maybe it's encouraged you to have a look at Earthy and focus on those bottom two rows if you're guilty of focusing on the lovely green shades that are in there, because you can get a really stunning look from those bottom two rows, definitely. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I also hope to see you again in a video in the not too distant future. Take care. Bye. When I put it out there, I wasn't sure if Erica would be keen. I don't know what's going on, if I should be offended, because my camera seems to want to focus on anything in the room but me. Which sounds very self-centered, but you know, it's a bit redundant if I'm trying to film a look and you can't actually see my face. And it's focused on the cushions again. Why? They're very beautiful cushions, but I'm here. I do.